Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our Madden 21 series that we have going. And it has been a while since we've been in this one. So just to give everybody a couple little updates. First and foremost, one, I did finally get upgraded to the PlayStation 5. That was after the last few weeks that have been kind of tumultuous here. In terms of, one, did get COVID, so it took a couple weeks to be able to even recover to where I could speak long enough to do the voiceovers. So that took a while. And then, right after we came off that, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it made some form of national news, but Texas was hit with a winter storm, and we're not built for cold weather, so everybody panicked, power went out. I didn't have power for about 4.5 days, so that kind of put a big delay on everything, but we are back now, and so to kind of update everybody with what happened in our series, because I did leave off and we were the coach of the Houston Texans, coming off a Super Bowl win with MVP Deshaun Watson. Well, pretty much we started to look that we needed to take the team in a different direction at that point. Watson had way too many turnovers, so we wanted to get rid of him. The GM said no, even though we could pick up, easily a number one pick for him and replace him at quarterback rather simply. It's one of those things the GM just didn't want, so we got in a big old argument, and we were actually fired from that position. Win the Super Bowl, get fired. It was kind of like Jimmy Johnson with the Cowboys in the back in the 90s, so we did have that happen. So right now, the way things happened once we got fired is there were two teams that wanted to pick us up. One was Miami because they were still the worst team in the league, and two, the Denver Broncos. They saw what we could do with Houston, and I really just didn't think. I figured Miami already had Tua, so trying to go in and get another quarterback and rebuild that team at salary cap wise just wasn't a good enough idea. So we did sign with Denver, and we took over, and there are a lot of issues that we have going on with the Broncos. Okay, that I can tell you. First and foremost, quarterback Drew Lock. That's going to be an issue kind of moving forward. And his accuracy just isn't that great, and he's not mobile. So if you're a pocket passer, or do better in the pocket, at least be accurate, which he's not really. And as you can see, he doesn't have a whole lot of mobility, so it's not like something he can escape. So he's going to be someone that we're definitely going to have to review and try to look at, I don't know, maybe picking up someone in the draft coming up. And then after him in the offense, we have Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, so our receiving core is very high-powered, which I like. Downside is Melvin Gordon as our running back. He is aging, and we're going to have to find some way to get some young guys in and build that up. But our offensive line is also a major mess at this point. It's going to take probably, if I had to guess, a couple drafts before we can really get something solid. But that's just where we are from an offensive standpoint. On the defensive side, we have our own struggles there too. So the line is okay. It's not what we had in Houston after all of our picks with Matthew Walker, any of them. And the same thing with defensive backs. We got some decent guys, but nothing great as far as our defensive backs. We don't have a Max Forbes. We don't have a Dominic Tompkins. And so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But it's something that it's going to give us a chance to build on. And also, I'm not going to lie, getting used to these controls and the way the game feels in PS5 is going to take some adjustment from myself. But in the last season with Houston, our defense could win us a game easily. If we got 14 points on offense, it was almost kind of a shutdown game at that stage. Here, this is definitely not going to be the case. This team will really push us to actually be better than what than what we can be. So it's going to be a tough rebuild altogether with so many things that we have to focus on. Bradley Chubb is probably going to be our easily the star of the defense at this stage of the game. As you can see there, I go diving off into nowhere. That's like I said, kind of the whole point of having to get used to these controls. But Bradley Chubb is going to be our main key on the defensive side, and I think he's young enough that I think we can build around him. So we have Chubb on the defense and Jerry Jeudy on the offense, and so you have Jeudy and Portland across from each other. We just need somebody who can actually deliver them the ball. That's going to be our biggest thing. So our defensive tackles going into being a 3-4, we need to have a big nose guard defensive tackle. So that's also going to be a primary focus of us going forward. And it's just one of those things that, I mean, you can see in this game, the start of the third quarter, our first possession, and the score is 31-0. We haven't been able to stop anybody, and our offense just isn't all that smooth. It's not clicking the way it should be. And that's not just Drew Lock's fault, although he is the starting quarterback, so this definitely plays a part in it. But overall, we have the receiving core. We did have O.J. Howard in at tight end, but I did trade him away. Also, in the free safety section, we had Harrison Smith. I traded him as well. Now, to do that in the offseason, which wasn't seen, what did we get in return? You're probably asking, since obviously we didn't get a left tackle who can block for longer than 2 seconds. We did get possibly the number 1 pick of the day. Okay, so we traded Harrison Smith to Miami, and O.J. Howard, I don't remember where he went, but either way, I think he may have also joined Miami in that trade to get that number 1 pick, because they're a horrible team. They went 1-15 in the preseason. Those guys are not going to improve them that much to where that trade, I think, comes out, probably should give us a top 5 pick. And these are just some clips from the preseason games that kind of worked out. And let me know, put down in the comments, how do y'all want this series to be presented kind of going forward? So right here we have essentially the television view, so the computer is essentially playing itself, right? We can do it that way. I do already have what would probably be the first episode, I guess continuing of the series recorded, which is where it's the gameplay of it with me behind the sticks. But put down in the comments, let me know what y'all would like to see. Maybe we can do a mix of it, and we'll kind of take it from there. And I do really think to see the progress of a true rebuild, you have to do it in this type of presentation as you add more guys into the team, so this way you can see how your defense goes from being like what we are right now in terms of we're definitely not shut down. I'd say we're pretty dang porous of a defense, and anybody can get through us. There's holes wide open everywhere and receivers wide open everywhere, but it's and seeing it like this gives us a good chance to see how well the rebuild is actually happening. Other than that, it will be gameplay all the way through, but I'll let y'all decide on that, and we'll kind of take it from there. This is so disheartening just rewatching this stuff. I experienced it whenever we played it, but just rewatching it just kind of hurts. It cuts me deep knowing what my defense was with Houston, and I go off and get myself fired for trying to get rid of an MVP quarterback, which now that I say that, I can understand it. They probably figured I was about to Bill O'Brien Houston again. So that makes some sense. But Denver is going to give us an opportunity to put these rebuild skills to the test. And if you look, our defense plays good. For every 3 downs, we got pretty good 2 solid 3 down. 2 downs were very solid out of the 3. It's when it gets to the 3rd down we have an issue. As you see, we were able to bring some pressure and almost get the sack, but we're always just that split second behind to where we can actually make the sack. And also our defensive backs, there's some things that aren't really seen, are pretty bad and slow. And I say that because I think we have Chavarius Ward, if that's how you pronounce his name. We have Ward, who is an 80 overall. That's our number one defensive back. Is an 80. I mean, I guess Jenkins is a safety who I think is close up to the 90s. He's a superstar, but he's mainly going to end up being there in run support, you know. So our defensive backs is going to be a big problem. You can see Jacksonville went down, scored. And here we are trying to do the same thing, but even Sutton can't get away from guys. I don't know if that's just the PS5 and how it works, or because he's really not that slow. I don't know who that DB was, but there's no way on a slant pattern he's going to stick foot to foot with Sutton. I just don't see that happening. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how it goes. And here's one of the problems that we have with Drew Lock. He just does not have a strong arm. He can deliver a ball, right? 10 to 15 yards. I think we can be pretty solid. His accuracy is going to be an issue, but he can at least get the ball there. We go over 20 yards, that ain't happening. And there's an accuracy problem right there with how far he led Judy. And Miles Jack just steps in and makes it easy interception. And so this is going to be kind of a tough beat for us coming forward. It's something that I do look forward to, but I also dread at the same time. So we'll work on that kind of as we go and see what can happen with it. And, man, more guys are getting injured. That was Barker, our left tackle. And all right, so talked about offensive line a little bit ago. Our starting left tackle is, I think, a 70 overall. That's Barker. 70. He's a starter. Everybody else below him is at about 65. So anytime we snap the ball, we have probably a good second and a half. And our guards are not very good either, so we have to drop back. But if we go too far, pressure comes, we're sacked, or we throw an interception or something just horrifically inaccurate. That's what we're going to be facing coming into this upcoming season. We did bring Texans back. We had down points that first season, made the playoffs, lost in the playoffs. Second season, made it to the AFC title, lost in the AFC title. Third season, completely dominated, 15-1, and then we go on to win the Super Bowl. So I'm hoping that it'll probably end up being at least a 3-year. I'm hoping it's only 3 seasons. Odds are, with the way Denver is shaped out, we're looking at possibly 4 or 5 to really be a Super Bowl competitive type of team, honestly. And we're going to have to make some big trades. Drew Lock, I'm going to have to hold on to him for this season just because there's not anybody else out there that we can get in terms of free agency. And I've already got possibly the number 1 pick. So most likely in the offseason, he'll be gone. If he does really impress us, we might have to see change directions, go defensive line, or coming back with our first pick. But I just don't see that happening. I really don't have that much faith in Drew Lock. So, but let me know if I should give him a chance. So put down in the comments if I think I should give Lock an honest chance in the same way I gave Watson the chance. While Watson was throwing 30, close to 30 interceptions a season. This is what I mean in terms of it's going to be tough. We're about to kick a field goal. Kaimi Fairbairn and Colin Gillespie we were able to bring back in to the game, into our new team. So we got that going for us. A couple of Texans, But let me know what y'all think in the comments about Locke and getting rid of him, or should we keep him and give him that chance, really. So, taking a look at our upcoming season, it looks like we are playing the AFC, I guess that's East, and the NFC North outside of our division. And so it's going to be pretty tough. We still have to compete with stupid Kansas City. I hate them. And so that's going to be a tough matchup there. I don't think the Raiders are going to be too much. The Chargers, man, hopefully. Herbert's going to be a beast, but he's one of those people I think we can deal with. Starting out the season against the Jets is kind of a savior for us, I think. Hopefully it can try to give us, a little bit of team building, a little bit of motivational type of win early on. So taking a look at our quarterbacks, Drew Lock, 74 overall, is going to be the starter. Melvin Gordon, he's an 82 overall running back. He's our starting running back. And our next one, Xavier Cohn, is at a 70. So there he is, Mr. Cullen Gillespie at fullback. Now looking at wide receivers, Sutton, 92, Judy, 86, Hamler, 77. I did pick up Arcega Whiteside in free agency, so I kind of improved that position some, I do think, as a good number 4 receiver. He's a little bit older, and we got a lot of young guys in there. Whitaker. Yeah, Parker is the 68. Whitaker is the 70. He's young, but it's 70 overall. It's going to be just rough on us coming off that blind side. Offensive line, 80. Then Cushenberry, our starting center, is a 74. I don't know why they have Reisner at 79, but he's our left guard. So Glasgow's at 77 is going to be starting for us in the right guard position. And then we have Jawan Taylor coming in at right tackle as a 75 overall. Again, our left end, he'll end up switching between the end and the defensive tackle position, along with Devontae Holt, who's one of our rookies that we were able to pull out at 71. Tolbert on the other end, 66. That's just brutal. You can kind of see it. I might start looking at moving Holt up into the starting position over there just to see. And, yep, there I go. End up doing it right there. Couple little clicks of a button. More defensive tackle. Robinson, 76. Max, 71. Chris, 68. See, we just don't have the depth that we need. And the I guess, youth is a better way to put it. We need that. Our linebacker core is actually semi-decent. I will give us that. Taki, 77 overall. He hasn't been in the league for very many years. So we got some definite places we can go with them from there. Yep, there he is, Mr. Bradley Chubb, 5 years experience. But Andrew Rose did draft him. He's a 68 overall, but he's also a hidden development factor. So we'll see what we can get him in on. We are going to try to put him into the plays. I think there's plenty of space we can fit him on the field. So we'll see what he brings us with his development as we go along in this first season. And while we're finishing up looking at the depth chart, I do just want to remind you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if y'all have not already. And hit that thumbs up button if you're getting ready for season number 4, the new beginning with the Denver Broncos here on our channel. And like I said, let me know down in the comments about Drew Lock and what we should really end up doing with him, what y'all think we should do, or let's kind of take it down the season and see what we get, because we have plenty of cap space. I can tell you that. That's one thing. This roster is like the Moneyball roster. It is low on the pay scale. So we got lots of space of things that we can do. And let's go ahead. Yeah, these are the returners. I forget to change this stuff every season, and so it always makes me mad coming into week 1 when it's not set up how I want. But oh well, so we're gonna take that little time to do that. Third down back, power back, Melvin. Yeah, he's just so much better. I think we have to kind of keep him in there. I'm not sure a rotational effort like I had with Houston between Junior and Jones is something that we can do just yet. But that's why we got to bring in youth. We got to bring in talent. We got to make things happen for this Denver Broncos team so we can try to get them back to their first Super Bowl since Super Bowl 50 when Peyton Manning took them down and ended up winning. All right, so that's going to get us wrapped up for this episode. I will see y'all in the next one as we start off our season against the New York Jets. So just remember, like and subscribe, and I will check y'all later. So as always, everybody, stay safe, and, well, you know how it goes. Later, y'all.